A Canadian summer tradition, the annual Canadian National Exhibition held in Toronto. The atmosphere is a large-scale country fair, a cultural happening. Combine this with agricultural displays, games of chance, and of course the midway rides, and you've got the recipe for excitement and fun. The CNE is a playground for the young and old alike. Now, if it's speed you're looking for and the midway just does not go fast enough, there is another place on the grounds. The former home of the Toronto Blue Jays, CNE Stadium. A revamped floor has been paved and transformed into a competitive semi-oval racetrack. Drivers and teams from the eastern United States, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and Ontario have gathered in Toronto this weekend to compete in this, the 9th event in the GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series. A formidable field of cars and teams in attendance, and this small track will prove to be a difficult event for the drivers as they attempt to manhandle these 500 horsepower, high-performance racing machines around this unforgiving one-third mile oval. The Autopro 100, the 9th event in the GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series schedule, the only Toronto stop on the tour. The GM Motorsport Hour, brought to you by General Motors of Canada Limited and by Quality GM Parts, Priority Courier, and Sony of Canada. The cosmopolitan city of Toronto, with its tall skyscrapers and the world's tallest freestanding structure, the CN Tower. The annual Canadian National Exhibition, a world-class event, serves as the backdrop to this, the first visit by the GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series to the new CNE track for the Autopro 100. Stock car racing debuted here at Exhibition Stadium in the 50s as a dirt track. This summer, Major League Stock Car Racing is resurrected in Toronto. Georgia Vermont's Robbie Crouch is currently second in the GM standings after his back-to-back wins in Halifax and a third-place finish the last time out. And Randy MacDonald, currently leading the points race, is now racing in front of a hometown crowd. He's had a 1-2 and fourth-place finish since Halifax. Then there's Quebec racing legend Jean-Paul CABANA. He looks to add yet another win to his career total of 498 victories. 2 events remain in the 10 events that make up this championship series. Randy MacDonald with a good lead at this point, but can be caught by the 4 others here in the top 5. Hello, I'm Jim Paulson. Welcome on a glorious day to Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. It's the 9th round of the GM National Stock Car Racing Championship, 9th of 10. And this one, a very strange configuration on this course. Check with our co-host Dave Moody on this. It's going to take some special qualities to attack this one, I think, Dave.
Well, one quality in particular, the quality of patience. There's a very tight hairpin corner in turn 3 and 4. The track is virtually flat. A driver's going to need to be patient to make his way from the back of the pack. If you try and bull and jam your way through, you're not going to last long on this racetrack.
Dave, can we think of one name out of the field gathered here that might possess some of those qualities that would stand out for you?
Well, ordinarily, if you talk about patience, you think of the veterans, people like Robbie Crouch. He's got 5 ACT championships under his belt. He knows what it's like to be in the hunt for the championship late in the season. And also, you got to talk about Jean-Paul CABANA. In 37 years of racing, he's seen every kind of track there is.
It's going to be a special challenge, no question, on this course. And with more from the pit area, let's join Michael CHARBON.
We have a unique situation developing in the point lead for the GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series. We have an American holding second place, which is Robbie Crouch, and we have a Canadian, none other than Oshawa native Randy MacDonald in first place. Randy, you're in first in the ACT and first in the GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series. This CNE event must be pretty important.
Well, we're sort of sitting on pins and needles here a little bit, getting ready for the Autopro 100. We got a good points lead. We won the race last week in the GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series, our first win really of the year in this series. We won some heats and semis and stuff, so it was a real good race there, and we ran with Robbie Crouch. Only the 2 of us finished on the lead lap. So we're looking forward to a good race here, and hopefully we can gain a little bit more point lead. We only got 2 to go, so it's getting close.
Robbie Crouch is currently in second place in both the GM Motorsport and the ACT. Robbie, this is a pretty important race here for you today in CNE.
Well, at this point in the season, with only a few races left, every race is tremendously important, and you've got to make the best. If you want to be champion of this series, you've got to get 100% out of your car, your crew, and do the best you can on each and every racetrack. Especially, it's not just a race between Randy and I. You know, there'd be 20 other cars out there to contest this particular race, and it's going to be tough because we've got particularly challenging conditions today. So we'll have to do the best we can on each and every lap and make the most of it.
So we have a very challenging track. We have an unforgiving concrete wall, and of course we have the American and the Canadian competition between Randy MacDonald and Robbie Crouch.
The 19 cars move away in preparation for this debut, the Autopro 100 at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto.
The starting field for this afternoon's 100-lap main event, the pole sitter from Montreal, Quebec, Sylvain Metivier in a Chevrolet Lumina. Outside of row 1, the veteran, Ralph Nason from Unity, Maine in the Jim Salad Company machine. Row number 2 from Shelburne, Vermont, independent, Kevin LePage in car number 21. Outside the rookie campaigner from Owen Sound, Ontario, Robbie Thompson. In row number 3 from St. Augustin, Quebec, Andre Baudouin in the Chadwick Bayross Chevrolet. Outside, 18 years old from Norwood, Ontario, Derek Lynch in car number 15. In row number 4 from Barrie, Vermont, Dan Beede in the Beede's Pit Stop Buick. Outside from Montreal, Quebec, Claude Leclerc in the Autopro Racing Chevrolet. Row number 5, the Nova Scotia champion, Rollie McDonald from Pictou, Nova Scotia. And alongside McDonald from Brampton, Ontario, Bill Zardo Sr. in car number 46. Row number 6 to Buzzy Bezanson and the veteran Jean-Paul Cabana. In row 7, Bill Zardo Jr. and Bruce Gowland, one of the local drivers. Row number 8 to Steve Knowlton and Steve Monroe. Row 9, Randy MacDonald and Robbie Crouch, the championship hopefuls, start side by side. And all alone back in row number 10, Ron Benjamin of Belfast, Maine.
Well, with Randy and Robbie starting that well back, this may be difficult on this very tight course. The field come through, the egg end, and we've got a green flag. Away they go back into corner number 1.
This is the easy part of the racetrack. Sylvain Metivier, the 82 on the inside line, has the lane. Ralph Nason, car number 10, gets it down in second. Already bumping and jamming. Metivier goes high, and Ralph Nason in car number 10 takes over the lead.
Well, actually, Sylvain looked pretty good off the start there, but the Lumina was suddenly taken by the Chrysler, and now that we have Ralph Nason in front in number 10, the problem now is for Kevin LePage in 21 to get by, and he does so!
Well, that tight turn number 3, we knew it was going to be a problem, and in 2 laps we have 2 lead changes as Ralph Nason pushes high in the corner, and Kevin LePage in the Ford Thunderbird moves underneath. LePage the leader, Ralph Nason second, Robbie Thompson third, then Sylvain Metivier and Andre Baudouin in car number 77. Once again, this is the easy part of the track. Turn 1 and 2, that sweeping left-hand corner, then down the back straightaway and into the hairpin. And here's where it came to an end to Sylvain Metivier. Ralph Nason giving a little bit of a horsepower boost as they got into that corner, forced him high and took the lead.
Well, suddenly it looks like turnabout is fair play because Kevin LePage now makes a move on Ralph Nason, who gets a little too high. You don't do that on this track, and LePage is back through one more time.
That outside line is no man's land. Nobody will make any ground on the outside today, especially in turn number 3. Ralph Nason took the lead there in lap number 1. Lap number 2, he lost it. LePage the leader, Nason second, and the rookie Robbie Thompson running in third.
Well, look at this now. Ralph Nason has another shot. He comes right up on LePage, gets the nose right up under the tailpipe there, in fact, but now they deal with the one end of the course one more time. Nason drops back about a car length, but you know he's going to have another shot here in a moment.
Well, Ralph Nason has been at this more than 30 years, a multi-time feature winner, former track champion in the state of Maine, and one of the toughest customers in short track auto racing anywhere in North America. Nason will have his hands full, though, getting by Kevin LePage. LePage himself a former champion in the state of Vermont, a former Vermont Milk Bowl championship winner on 2 different occasions, and right now he's got himself a bit of a lead. LePage in the 21, opening up to 2 car lengths over Ralph Nason.
Oh, look at this. We already have a problem in the form of Wayne Williams running the Lumina, and Wayne, I believe, is pulled out of it. He's certainly into the infield.
Only 6 laps complete, and Wayne Williams is down into the infield, and he'll have to wait for a caution flag because it's impossible to get back to the garage area under green flag racing. The gate is closed, so Wayne Williams will just park it and wait for the yellow flag.
In fact, I think we saw Wayne out of the car there, sort of walking forlornly as we get back to our race leaders, and again, it's Ralph Nason who's got to do some work here. We've already noticed, I think, what is going to be the pattern in this race here, David, in that it's a flat course. We're going to see a lot of single file running here.
No question. Everybody's lined up right now, just kind of holding their position. LePage, Nason, and Robbie Thompson, the top three. Then a good gap back to the number 77 machine, Andre Beaudoin, one of the independent campaigners on the American-Canadian Tour. Only picked up the ride full-time a couple of weeks ago, but Andre Beaudoin has looked strong thus far. Runs in the 4th spot. The challenge right now is for 5th. Sylvain Metivier has gone high. That allows Derek Lynch to move underneath in car number 15.
I'd watch 09, the rookie Robbie Thompson is certainly going for those honors in 1990, and he is working on the veteran Ralph Nason at this stage of the race, but I don't know if he has the knowledge to deal with him here. Now let's go in car with Randy MacDonald.
Randy MacDonald running back around the 15th position on the field right now, ducking down to the inside to move underneath Dan Beede. Beede had been running in the number 7 position. He got pushed to the outside, and man, is he going to the back. A little bit of full contact racing there as Bill Zardo Jr. gets a little bump on the side of the 53. Dan Beede goes from 7th all the way back to about 19th position.
I would think traffic would be a little bit more of a problem on this CNE course, but so far the front runners have been dealing with it rather nicely. They've made a number of stops since the last time we saw this crowd, David, out in Halifax, and Randy MacDonald has done well in the series since, but not one of the front runners here today.
Well, it's going to be a long, difficult process for Randy MacDonald, Robbie Crouch and company to come from the back and have themselves a play at the front of the field. They're going to have to be cautious. Oh, we've got a spin in turn 4, and it's Rollie MacDonald. MacDonald, the Nova Scotia champion in the King Freight Lines, car number 13, brings out the caution flag for the first time today.
There's Rollie MacDonald. He's had certainly mixed luck in this season of 1990. We might get a view here as to what happened, and it might have been a touch.
Yeah, Rollie MacDonald looked like he got just momentarily into the back of the Bill Zardo automobile, puckered up the fiberglass on the front end of his car, spun it around in that hairpin turn number 3.
So with Rollie MacDonald's misfortune, we have an opportunity here for Wayne Williams in number 17 to in fact get back into the race. Here are the current leaders. Kevin LePage, Nason is second, then Thompson. We'll be back with more exciting race action right after this. Looks gentle with the tall ships out there in Lake Ontario, but I tell you, the tough cars back here at CNE Stadium are ready to run in this Autopro 100. We're under a yellow. Should be back to green in a moment, David.
Kevin LePage in the Citgo Ford Thunderbird, the leader. Ralph Nason running in second. Robbie Thompson, Andre Beaudoin, and Derek Lynch, the top 5. Field coming down. The green flag is out once again. LePage leads them off. Single file into turn 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, heading for the hairpin corner number 3 once again. Rollie MacDonald back on the tail end of the field after that spin that brought out the yellow.
Kevin LePage, though, the race leader in that Ford Thunderbird, he has got Nason holding in very tightly on him at this stage. But I'll tell you, that 4 or 5 car length difference can certainly help here. And now Robbie Thompson in 09, still very much a factor in the war against the veteran in the form of Nason.
Well, Kevin LePage looks fairly comfortable right now. He's pulled away to a 3, 4, 5 car length advantage. Ralph Nason not able to catch him. And that's a very comfortable position for a leader to be in, especially on this type of racetrack, because it allows you to go a little bit easier into the corners and come out a little bit harder as well. On a track like this, as short as it is, these drivers are coming out of the corners 100% on the hammer, on the accelerator. Then they get to the corner, and they've got to slam on the brakes, practically stop these cars in turn 3, and get right back on it again as they hit the front straightaway. So it's a very difficult track to drive. It's going to be a very difficult track on brakes. That may come to the forefront as the race wears on.
Yeah, it's really sort of an aim and spurt, and whoever wants to spurt the deepest, I guess. And sometimes Nason does that, by the way. He'll break in later. But now I think Thompson has learned something off of Ralph.
Well, Robbie Thompson has a good handling race car right now. He is coming off the corners right on the bottom of the racetrack. You can see the red and white line that Robbie Thompson is actually a little bit below that time through 1 and 2, and that's kind of no man's land down there. The American-Canadian Tour officials said before the race that anybody running down below that line would be warned. If they continue to do it, they'll see the black flag. Robbie Thompson, again, not actually below the line, but he's every bit on it right now. That's a sign of a good handling race car.
I note, though, that Robbie does not want to take it to the outside. He's not going to have a go at Ralph on the outside of this. If they're going to make a move, He feels it's got to be inside, but within legal grounds.
Well, if you see anybody passing just about anybody on the outside here today, it's going to be a minor miracle, because this is not an outside passing track. The man in front of you needs to make a little mistake, or you need to force them into a mistake, and by that I mean use the front bumper a little bit, getting out of the corner to try and make someone go high, like Kevin LePage did right there.
Well, Nason got in low. He was trying to have a go at LePage. Thompson holds in. We're in car here with Randy MacDonald.
That's Bill Zardo Sr. right in front, and the 82 machine, Sylvain Metivier, you'll recall, was the pole sitter at the start of the race, but Metivier's car is pushing badly in the corners, going to the top of the track, and he is very near the back of the pack right now.
Pretty good sign there that we now know Randy MacDonald is clawing his way through the field. Oh, we saw a big hunk of bodywork hanging there.
That's the Bruce Gowland automobile, one of the back markers in danger of going a lap down, and he's made contact with something or someone on the corner of that Chevrolet Camaro. Kevin LePage out of turn number 3 is going to have to deal with the lap car of Gowland. This will be the first time in the contest that anybody's actually had to go to the outside of a slower car. Would not expect LePage to have that much trouble with Gowland. Gowland is well off the pace, but we'll see what happens. Whoa, leaning on each other just a little bit in 3. LePage actually does go high, and that tells you something about this racetrack, Jim. The lap car of Gowland actually giving the leader a pretty good run.
Well, if nothing else, they may help Bruce Gowland remove some of that bodywork that is currently flapping in the breeze. I don't know that it's affecting him on this short a course at all, David, but now they're all beginning to get by. Nason makes his move.
Oh, and a challenge for the number 3 spot. Andre Beaudoin with a nice move. Went to the outside of Robbie Thompson, tried to box him in behind the lap car, but Beaudoin's car number 77 very nearly came out from under him in turn number 3. He gathered it up, and he comes right back to the inside of Thompson, and he picks it up. Thompson goes high trying to deal with the lap car, and he's going to lose a couple of spots in that black car number 09.
In the meantime, Kevin LePage doesn't care. He is by it all and still leads rather handily. The traffic has certainly helped him in this case.
Oh, a little bit of bump and run back in the pack as Claude Leclerc in car number 11 gets into the side of Derek Lynch, forces Lynch high. That's going to cost young Derek a couple of spots as he and Claude Leclerc and also the 46 car of Bill Zardo go underneath.
I wonder if Kevin LePage is thinking, look, guys, all you guys back there, no one do anything wrong. I don't want a yellow. I got a good handy lead right now. I don't want to give this one up.
Oh, there's no question. LePage is well out in front. Another change of position. Claude Leclerc is beginning to pick up spots. Andre Beaudoin's car number 77 ran as high as the number 4 spot, but he's going backwards right now as the freight train moves underneath him. Claude Leclerc, oh, we've got a spin. Robbie Thompson going around. Whoa, Randy MacDonald takes the evasive action. And a good shot there from the in-car camera. Derek Lynch gets tangled up in it. And I think Robbie Thompson has fractured a radiator all over turn 3 as the steam begins to rise from the Thompson Motorsports car number 09.
You know, we got a glimpse of him there just a little while ago. He tried to dive in, make a move, and then bang, it all went on him. There's Robbie. Oh, yeah.
He's definitely either broken the radiator or lost a hose because the antifreeze is just pouring out of that car, and you can see that's what took him around in the corner. Derek Lynch, very fortunate in car number 15 not to get a piece of the concrete. And the other drivers behind as well. You can see Randy MacDonald just sneaking through on the inside. That car really is boiling over now.
Well, look at this. He's going to try to get it away. Now, what they have to do is go through a gate arrangement here, David, and take it literally back to the pit area. He'll try to work on the car there and yet may return today. Look at this. The crew are on it already.
Well, this could be a very dangerous situation. It looks like the radiator cap has blown off. And that crew had to be very cautious getting under the hood because we've seen crew members in years past seriously burned when they pull the cover off a boiling radiator.
Let's have a look at our leaderboard. Kevin LePage, the race leader. Ralph Nason holds in there. Claude Leclerc becomes a factor. He's sitting in 3rd. There's more great race action in a moment.
What happened, Robbie, out there?
I guess the rad cracked itself. I spun in my own water, and then Bill bumped into me. I think the rad broke.
You think you're going to be able to repair it?
Yeah, we're going to be repaired, but we'll be a few laps down. It's too bad the Thompson Motorsports Buick Regal was running good, and we were just riding in 3rd place.
100 laps in this race. It's going to be really tough to get in contention, but Robbie Thompson and his crew is trying to put the Rad back in the car so they can get back on the track.
And the unfortunate thing with Robbie Thompson is the crew have got the work all done. There's still a few little subtle things they'll continue to deal with here, but they cannot get back into the race, David, until the next yellow comes out.
The gate will be closed until the next caution period, so Robbie Thompson is going to lose some laps. Kevin LePage leads, Ralph Nason second, then the lap car of Bruce Gallen, the third place automobile Claude Leclerc, and of course the pair everybody's watching, Randy McDonald and Robbie Crouch, not having a whole lot of luck right now. Jim McDonald is back in 10th, Crouch is 12th.
Already doing about the 33rd lap here of the Autopro 100 at Exhibition Place in Toronto, and Nason makes a move.
Oh, LePage is in trouble. Kevin LePage's car number 21 has definitely come off the pace. He pulled high on the front straightaway, took it right up next to the wall, and the fire has gone out under the hood of that Ford Thunderbird.
Nason now totally in command. With him is Claude Leclerc, who has not run this high for a few events now, but Claude is having a great time in Toronto.
Let's look at it again. Kevin LePage looks to be well in command, and you can see him waving his hand. The fire has gone out, signaling Ralph Nason. The driver's behind him. The fellas, I'm in trouble. I'm going to take it high, duck underneath me. Looks like the day may be over for Kevin LePage, and what a tough break as he looked for his first feature win of the 1990 season.
So here's Ralph Nason back in front at Exhibition Place in Toronto with the Autopro 100, and Claude Leclerc is running second.
And what a day it would be for Claude Leclerc and the Autopro Chevrolet if he can win the sponsors race. He's still got one tough spot to get, and Ralph Nason is not going to be an easy customer. Kevin LePage's car has refired. He remained on the lead lap. He's dropped back to about 8th, maybe 12th position, but he's running just as strongly as he ever did. Something apparently has gone wrong in the ignition system. There's a challenge for third. Bill Zardo going inside Andre Baudouin, and he's got it.
Well, Andre, I don't know what happened. He seemed to fall off a touch there, or Zardo just got a little bit more aggressive, but the only real war at this stage was that fight for third place.
Well, we mentioned before that this race is going to be very, very difficult on brakes, and this is about the time when those brake pads will get very hot and the effectiveness will start to go away. You get into the corner and expect to have more brake than you end up having. The car drifts high, and then a veteran like Bill Zardo ducks underneath and takes third place away. In the fourth spot right now is Baudouin, then a long gap back to Jean-Paul Cabana fifth, and then Kevin LePage, who's back up to sixth.
Okay, let's pick up on a replay here. Again, this was our fight for third place overall, and I would think that was almost a little door handle to door handle, in fact, as they came out of the corner. And I'm beginning, as Bill Zardo gets by Andre Baudouin, I'm beginning to wonder whether it's just daring going into the narrow part of the course, some of them diving deeper, or if in fact the brakes are going.
Well, there's something to be said for daring as well. On this kind of a racetrack, you've got to be daring. You've got to take a chance now and then, but you don't want to take a big chance, because if you get in trouble and end up spinning the car, have to go to the back of the pack, there is virtually no way to come up through twice in a day.
Ralph Nason looks like he's in command. You made the comment off the top of this show today, David, that this sort of course may go to the veterans, and he keeps bobbing out in front here.
Well, racing Ralph Nason, he's been a Dodge man all his life. Raced the first half of the season in a Chevrolet, as a matter of fact. Didn't like it a whole lot, but he was waiting for this new car to be finished and that new Chrysler LeBaron body to be put out. He's finally got it together. He's run very strong just a couple of times out in this new car, and it looks like he's got it together here this afternoon. Two of the real veterans, racing Ralph Nason and Claude Leclerc in car number 11, then Bill Zardo, Andre Baudouin, Cabana, LePage, and now Buzzy Pazanson gets into the action and puts himself onto the tail end of that lead draft.
Oh, there's a little rear end bump, and in fact one of them spins out. We didn't quite catch the number there, but a yellow has come out, David.
I believe it's Rollie McDonald. McDonald was just about to go a lap down in car number 13, and indeed he's banged up the nose one more time on the King Freight Lines automobile. There's McDonald, the black car, just coming into the left-hand side of your picture, brings it into the corner. Oh man, slide for life by Rollie McDonald, and with concrete walls all the way around the outside of this racetrack, that has got to be a unique experience.
Just slips away, and almost a unique experience for our cameraman, in fact, down at that end of the course. But Rollie McDonald now brings the car around carefully, and that means the gate opens one more time. He gets out, but it also means 09 Robbie Thompson returns.
Thompson a number of laps down, but it could have been a whole lot worse had it not been for Rollie McDonald's spin in turn number 2. Racing Ralph Nason, the king of coleslaw from Unity, Maine. He makes the coleslaw for just about every Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise in Maine and New Hampshire. Says every race team runs on cabbage. I just buy mine wholesale.
And on the green flag, he maintains the lead. Nason is not going to give this one away. He's not had a win yet this year, David, so obviously he's hungry here in Toronto as well.
Oh, he is indeed, because all the winners at the end of the season get to take part in that big showdown race for $5,000 to win just 20 laps on a third-mile track. So Nason wants a win, and he knows how to get it. He's got 2 career victories on the American-Canadian Tour. Let's go back in car with Randy MacDonald in the AC DELCO Buick as he spins it. Oh man, MacDonald all the way around at the top of the racetrack. Everybody gets around him. MacDonald stays off the wall, but what a time to go in car as Randy MacDonald, one of the point leaders on the GM Motorsport Series, loops it in turn number 3.
Well, I hope it didn't scare him there when we went in vehicle, but Randy brings it around. He's got a large following here. Obviously going to be rather disappointed in that move, and I think we've got some damage. I don't know that Randy's even going to get back. Oh yeah, he'll be fine. He'll try to get back into the line and then at least maybe back to the pit area.
Let's take a look at the replay and see what happened. MacDonald, oh look, parts coming out from under the car. He's exploded a brake rotor. Absolutely, either the right front or left front brake caliper and rotor have exploded, and Randy MacDonald's car goes around. And now the next question for all those drivers behind Randy MacDonald that ran over that shrapnel, how many flat tires are we going to come up with?
Now, knowing Randy and the gang, they're going to fix this, and this man is going to return here in Toronto. I mean, he's got his crowd to perform in front of.
Well, it won't be a quick fix. He is definitely going to lose some laps and possibly the point lead. Back at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto, the GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series point leader, Randy MacDonald, is in the garage area making repairs. That gives us a chance to get to know Randy MacDonald just a little bit better at our Priority Courier up close.
28-year-old Oshawa, Ontario native Randy MacDonald has been racing competitively since the age of 16. As Rookie of the Year in 1985 for the NASCAR North Series and Rookie of the Year for the Players Limited GM Motorsport Challenge in '87, MacDonald has seen many a racetrack and competed in numerous racing series.
Well, I really believe that this series is one of the most competitive anywhere in North America. It's really hard. Last year we only ran the 10 races in the GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series, and it was hard to get a lot of momentum. So this year we're running the whole series, which includes the 10 GM Motorsport National Stock Car events, and what that's done is it's given us a really good momentum. We're tuned right into this series, tuned into the stock car, and we spend all our time working on the car. We don't have any other things going on, and so we're not distracted at all.
With a degree in mechanical engineering from Waterloo University, Randy takes pride in being personally involved in the precise setup of his vehicle. Before a race, the MacDonald racing team conducts numerous tests to get the exact setup for each unique track. This precise planning has paid off tenfold for Randy's career.
You know, running from London, Ontario all the way to Halifax, Nova Scotia, the rules are such that anybody in late model racing in Ontario or Quebec or anywhere really in mid to eastern Canada can be involved in this series. You know, it's high profile. We get lots of TV exposure, we get good sponsors, we got a good crew, it's young. We've made a lot of mistakes this year, but then we've had a lot of success too, so we're pretty happy, and we're going to stick with who we got and see if we can't pull this all off this year.
Currently, the series point leader, Randy MacDonald, hopes to bring the National Stock Car Series 1990 championship title home to Oshawa, Ontario.
And in fact, the work that this crew is doing right now on 01, the AC DELCO Randy MacDonald entry, could mean the dashing of those championship hopes, I wonder.
Well, MacDonald is definitely going to lose some laps. It is not a quick fix, and he can't come out now until the next caution flag period. Here comes Ralph Nason leading the field down as we go back to green flag racing. 51 laps complete, just shy, or just past rather, the halfway point in this Autopro 100. Nason the leader. Claude Leclerc right on his back bumper, running in the second spot. In third is Bill Zardo Sr., then Andre Baudouin, the youngster from Quebec, having an outstanding run in car number 77. Right behind him, Jean-Paul Cabana, then Kevin LePage, Buzzy Bezanson, Derek Lynch, and Robbie Crouch. Now, Crouch needs to take the bull by the horns with Randy McDonald behind the wall. Crouch has got to come for the front of the pack.
You know, Claude Leclerc driving with a very special conviction here. I forget the number or the hundreds of the Autopro locations around this area, but Claude is certainly performing for that crowd who've shown up to cheer him on today in this Autopro 100.
Well, no question about that. Two drivers today wanted to do especially well. One, Randy McDonald in front of the hometown crowd. That's gone out the window now, but Claude Leclerc, if he could take a win in his sponsor's own race, what better way to lock up the package for 1991? But right now, Leclerc's got his hands full because Ralph Nason, one of the toughest customers in the business, and Leclerc can't just concentrate on the lead because Bill Zardo Sr. is right on his back bumper in third.
Well, look out now. Claude has had a lot of wars on these small tracks around the eastern part of this continent, as has Ralph. So you still think Ralph is the craftier of the two?
Well, these two are both veterans. It just depends who has got the best handling race car right now. Claude Leclerc is an interesting story. He never even sat behind the wheel of a stock car until after his 30th birthday. He said he never could afford it. Spent time building up his business, got to the point where he had the time, had the finances to begin racing, and he has turned into one of the top points chasers on the American-Canadian Tour.
You know, Kevin LePage is running in, what, about 6th place overall right now, and one of those past circuits, so we saw him almost get sideways there. He's trying to make some moves. It's difficult to do that on this course when you're back sort of mid-pack.
Well, it's got to be frustrating for young Kevin LePage because he led this race, and I'm sure it would have been pretty tough to dislodge off that lead, but something just went wrong with the car. There's no way of telling at this point because the car refired and continued on without a caution, but that's got to be a real worry for Kevin LePage and his crew right now because if the car died once, it could die again.
Don't forget, sitting there in third spot, Bill Zardo Sr., another one of the great, perhaps local hopes, I would imagine, here at Exhibition Place. I'm not sure that this crowd is really cheering Nason on, but he's in control.
Ralph Nason, if he can hold on to that inside line, that's the name of the game right now. Robbie Crouch, the last car on that lead draft, took a look to the outside of young Derek Lynch, but the outside line is no place to be, and Crouch had to drop back and hold on to his position behind Lynch in the running order.
And again, depends on who's going to break a little later as they get over to this narrow side of the course. Ralph Nason, though, can kind of set the pattern. Leclerc, I thought, tried to move to the outside. Suddenly another yellow.
We've got debris on the racetrack in turn number 3. And what it looks like is one of the rubber speed bumps that they've bolted down to the inside of this track has come loose. They'll make the repairs and be set to go. Randy McDonald is going to get the opportunity to rejoin the field. Let's go to the garage.
Doc McDonald, Randy's dad, you did it. You're back in the game.
Man, that was a lot of work. We changed the whole front rotor, got the brakes back on the car, and we're back out. I think we're down about 5 or 6 laps, though, but as long as we're there at the end, that's what counts.
A definite sign of a champion, Randy McDonald back in the game again.
And that champion is poised in 0-1 right at the edge of the course. As soon as there's a hole and this field gets by, Randy is back into it. They wave him back into the fray.
Well, obviously, McDonald is not going to win it today. He's not even going to finish in the top 5 or 6 positions. But every point he salvages, every lap he completes, could be the difference when they tally it up for the championship at the end of the year.
Here's the man in front, Ralph Nason, Jim Salad Company. The Chrysler leads, and they're back on a green flag. And right on him, Claude Leclerc in number 11.
Bill Zardo Sr., the 46, runs in the 3rd spot, followed by Andre Baudouin. But once again, Ralph Nason, with all kinds of horsepower, beginning to pull away from Claude Leclerc, trying to get a car length or 2 in hand, have a little bit of breathing room, allow himself a bit of a bobble in the corner if he needs one.
They're working on, I guess, about the 58th or so lap. We're dealing with the Autopro 100 here. And I'll tell you, the 100 laps at Exhibition Place, I think they are finding a bit of a chore today.
No question. These drivers are going to be wrung out when it's all over because it demands 100% from the driver, maybe 110% from the crew. Kevin LePage is in trouble again. The 21 machine has gone high to the top of turn 3, right up next to the wall, and shuts down for the 2nd time this afternoon. Kevin LePage mysteriously has the fire go out under the hood of that car.
Indeed, the T-Bird fails. Now let's see what happens here. It's no one else really involved at all. He is wise enough to kind of swing it away, get it out of the line, and up against the wall, let the rest of the field carry on. He knows that he's got a problem here, may as well get out of it.
Well, no bumping, no contact that we could see that would have caused that, and that almost certainly is some kind of an ignition problem. A wire has become disconnected or burned through. Something has short-circuited under the hood, and the LePage Motorsports team will go to work. His dad, Ray LePage, the gentleman in the middle, been building his cars for a long, long time. They've got it refired, and he's going back out.
Okay, the current leader is still Ralph Nason. More action after this. We're back at the Prince's Gates at Exhibition Place in Toronto. They had the championship Indy cars roaring up toward that a while ago, and right now it's the Autopro 100, our GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series Championship, right in Exhibition Place.
Coming down to the line, looking for a restart with 59 laps complete. It continues to be Ralph Nason at the front of the pack in the Jim Salad Company, car number 10. Claude Leclerc still shows in third. Bill Zardo Sr. in car number 46. Just another methodical, workmanlike up-front finish so far for Bill Zardo.
And Ralph Nason totally in control. It seems to be at this stage, David, no one really wants to make a move, and I'm wondering why. Mind you, there's still a number of laps to go, but it remains this order. Ralph Nason in 10, Claude Leclerc in 11, and no one wants to really alter that at this stage.
Well, still a long ways to go. We're just at the 60-lap mark. A lot of things still will happen before this one's history. There's a change for fourth. Jean-Paul Cabana fights his way to the inside of Andre Beaudoin's car number 77, and that may be the beginning of the end for the youngster from Quebec. Andre Beaudoin trapped up on the outside. No, he fights his way back in. He loses 2 spots to Cabana and Buzzy Bazanson, but that's a nice move by Beaudoin to fight his way back into that low group.
Oh, that was dangerous. Once you lose that line, as you well know, David, and for Beaudoin to fight your way back into the lineup is then your main chore. It's either that or get into that concrete wall, but otherwise the whole train will go right by you.
Well, Andre drops from the number 4 position back to 6th, and let's keep an eye now on that white and blue car number 5A, the 4th position. Jean-Paul Cabana has made himself some good moves to get up into 4th place.
You know, Randy MacDonald is looking healthier anyway, as he's got 0-1, mind you, well back in the pack. But let's go in car here and just watch some of the action from Randy's point of view.
Well, there's 2 of the hard luck drivers running nose to tail. Randy MacDonald right behind Kevin LePage. LePage remains on the lead lap. He is a ways behind the field in terms of the actual running order, but he's not as far behind as Randy MacDonald. MacDonald is way back a number of laps down.
Okay, someone trying to sneak into the infield there, I think, and pull off a bit of a pass a little further back in the pack. Again, let's point out, that's one of the rules. You're not to dive inside this line. Oh, Kevin LePage now pulls it into the infield area himself.
Well, he's inside the line, but he's doing it intentionally now. He's pulled it down into the infield, and it looks like that is going to be the end of the day for Kevin LePage in the LePage Motorsports Citgo Racing Ford Thunderbird. That's too bad. He had a chance to win this thing this afternoon.
Really did. It looks like Ralph Nason's day. The old wily old veteran is not letting anyone by, so number 10 maintains his pace. Again, Claude Leclerc has a bit of a go on behalf of the Autopro sponsorship here today.
Well, let's backtrack. Kevin LePage fires it up for a 3rd time this afternoon and brings it right back out on the racetrack. This has been a bizarre afternoon at the races for Kevin LePage in car number 21.
Seems every time we turn around, something new and exciting or different is kind of happening here at Exhibition Place. LePage says, oh, what the heck, I'm going to have one more go at this. Not that it'll be a legitimate go at Ralph Nason or any of our front runners, but I think they want to finish today, if nothing else, David.
Oh, no question. I'm sure LePage now is a lap down, though, as the leaders made their way around him as he spent some time in the infield. Certainly interesting is not the word Kevin LePage would use, but he's had his ups and downs today, and now he's in much the same boat as Randy MacDonald. He's just got to persevere, get as many laps as he can, and as many points toward the championship.
Ralph Nason, the race leader. Claude Leclerc still sitting in 2nd place, and it remains constant. I would think all that they're waiting for, if you're sitting in 3rd, 4th, 5th, is maybe another yellow. Let them bobble. Somebody has to make an error out front. Will it be Bill Zardo Sr.? Not Jean-Paul Cabana, I'm sure, and Jean-Paul would love another victory.
Well, Claude Leclerc is beginning to pick up the pace now in the number 2 position. He stuck the nose down to the inside of Ralph Nason coming off turn 4. Again, takes a look coming off 2, but Nason, the old veteran, has not won all those races over the years by accident. He knows exactly where Claude Leclerc wants to be, and he's going to keep his car right in the middle of the road, right in that bottom groove. Let's go in car one more time with Randy MacDonald. He goes way high in turn number 3. Gets a real good look at that concrete wall. My goodness, an awfully good look at that concrete wall, but finally gets it to turn left and keeps it back under control as everybody moves underneath it.
Well, Randy giving us some exciting footage out there, and black flag waving for someone here, Dave.
I believe we've got one of those inside the line calls being made. Steve Monroe's car number 08 brings it down into the infield. The Monroe Motorsports Chevrolet Camaro. He has been running inside the red and white marking line on the inside of turn 1 and 2 for something like 9 or 10 laps now. Chief starter John Hulbert shook the black flag at him a couple of times. Monroe continued to run inside the line, so now he gets the disqualification and is sent down to the infield.
So we'll assume what is happening is perhaps the lecture at this point for Steve Monroe. One of our officials have in fact wandered to the scene, and I would imagine he'll be back soon, but maybe racing in line properly.
Yeah, I almost guarantee that if he's allowed to come back, he'll be right there above the line where he belongs. Claude Leclerc taking a little dip down to the inside, but hasn't done him a lot of good. He still just follows the back bumper of that beautiful yellow number 10 for racing Ralph Nason of Unity, Maine, looking to pick up his 3rd American-Canadian Tour lifetime, his first of the season, and his first career GM Motorsports victory. We've got trouble on the racetrack. The caution flag is out, problems on the front straightaway as the Bruce Gowland automobile faces the wrong way, and Gowland, I believe, just got turned around by young Robbie Thompson. Let's take a look at it. Gowland coming out of turn number 4, gets a little bit sideways. Thompson left with nowhere to go, gets into the back end of the automobile. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, an innocent verdict, if you please, for young Robbie Thompson.
And I must say, a little bit of Robbie Thompson's vehicle took flight there off to the infield, and look at these two, certainly beating up his number 13, Rollie MacDonald, there's no question. Well, about a half a dozen laps remain here. The current leaders, Ralph Nason in front. Claude Leclerc is going to have to go for it, and what remains right after this.
Beautiful day for relaxing on the waters of Lake Ontario, but at Exhibition Stadium at Toronto, nobody relaxing yet. The standings after 4 events of the GM Parts National Pit Stop Competition, Robbie Crouch's team came out on top in that competition held a little bit earlier today. Let's take a look at the winning pit stop. Crouch at the wheel of the official GM Motorsports National Stock Car Series pace car, and his championship crew going to work. Carl Osha on the right front tire, Brian Latouche on the right rear tire, Tom Kramlich the jack man, Mark Kramlich the gas man, and this is a world-class stop right here. 19 seconds, 20.4, the final time for Robbie Crouch. No penalties. They win this edition of the GM Pit Stop Competition, and they hold the overall points lead.
And they should be jubilant. Well, the Autopro 100 has suddenly become the Autopro 5 as we get set to go back to green at Exhibition Place in Toronto.
Only 5 laps remaining for Ralph Nason of Unity, Maine. Claude Leclerc runs in second. Bill Zardo, Jean-Paul Cabana, and Buzzy Bazanson. The green flag is out and they're away. Into turn number 1. Nason the leader. Leclerc a car length back in second. Zardo right there in third. Nason, though, able to pull away on the back straightaway.
And then again, as they get to the narrow part, Leclerc hones right in on him. A little more daring in this part of the course, and believe me, Zardo was right there as well. It's simply a matter now here in the crunch as to who, if anyone, is going to make a bobble.
Well, if anyone's got anything up their sleeve, they've got to try it. You saw Claude Leclerc dip down below the white line. He's got to try anything he can try right now because Ralph Nason is going to hold on to that low groove. You can bet on it. Leclerc looks high. Leclerc looks low. Nothing there. Nason down on the inside holds onto that white line. Leclerc second, Zardo third, Cabana fourth, and again Nason able to pull away on the back chute.
And again, you watch the strategy that's going on all the way down the line because Nason, of course, is in control. He's in front. Leclerc will dive to one side and look. Zardo will go the other way. Here are the flags.
2 to go now, and I guarantee Ralph Nason is slowing down right now. He's doing everything he needs to do to make sure that that Jim's Salad Company car number 10 stays right on the inside of the racetrack. Nason across the start-finish line. White flag is out. 1 lap remaining in the Autopro 100. Nason down the back straightaway for the final time. Leclerc is there in the second spot. Zardo still third, but nobody can challenge. Out of turn number 4, Ralph Nason wins the Autopro 100. Claude Leclerc second. Bill Zardo Sr. finishes up in third, followed by Jean-Paul Cabana, Buzzy Bazanson, and Robbie Crouch.
Well, an exciting finish nonetheless, but really there wasn't a thing any of them could do. Ralph was totally in control right up there to the checkered flag.
Well, the only hope they had was perhaps if there was a rookie or a young racer up front, he might get a little bit excited, go into the corner a little too hard, but Ralph Nason has been doing this a long, long time, kept it where he needed it, on the inside of the track, and he carries the checkers for the Autopro 100.
Oh, he has wanted to wave that flag out of this car all season long, and he finally gets the opportunity, and it'll be worthwhile to him before the season's over.
Well, a great day for racing Ralph Nason from Unity, Maine. Claude Leclerc finishes up second in his sponsors race. Bill Zardo Sr., Jean-Paul Cabana, Buzzy Bazamsa in the top 5. Robbie Crouch finished up in 6th. Randy McDonald way back in 16th.
And our winner today, racing Ralph Nason. Ralph, congratulations, a really good race today. You had one heck of a challenge there with Claude Leclerc.
Oh, we had a real fine race with Claude there. He drove a heck of a race there. I'd like to say the Jim Salad Chrysler LeBaron ran perfect all day long, and thanks to the help of Mopar Performance in Detroit and Windsor, and we're real tickled to be here today.
So how did you find that corner 1 and 2? It was really tight for a little while there.
Yeah, the corner 1 and 2 was real tight. The racetrack was, the sticky tires are pulling the asphalt, and boy, you had to be real careful in there because it got all marbly and you stayed real low. My son, my crew chief, he kept saying, hey, stay low, because as they were taking it out with the right side tires, it was moving up and it was in that next lane, so you couldn't run there. So I knew Claude, if he had a chance, was going to be coming off the inside of that 4-turn.
So, despite his bad showing today here at Exhibition Place, Randy McDonald still leads after 9 events with Crouch right behind him.
That big lead has shrunk. Let's have a word now with Randy McDonald.
Randy McDonald, a little disappointment here today with your little accident, but quite a performance to get it back out on the track.
Thanks, Michael. It was quite a day in the Autopro 100. I don't know, I think we ended up 15th or 16th, and what happened, we were running pretty good moving up the pack. We had Robbie covered, he was behind us, and we broke a rotor, or the lining separated from the brake pad. We're not really sure yet, and the guys did a great job. They changed it, so we got the AC DELCO BUICK right back out again. I don't know, we probably lost 10 laps or so, but my wife Gina, she's done a quick calculation. I think we're going to hold on to the lead. It's going to be tight going into Motorsport, and I think that's where the champion's going to be decided, so see you again there.
Randy McDonald will perhaps be ready for the finale. He'd better be. It all boils down to that this year.
Well, Randy McDonald came in today with a bit of breathing room, but that 16th place finish, Robbie Crouch's 6th place finish, make the lead just 19 points.
David, time for you and I to head for the midway. For Michael Charbon, David Moody, I'm Jim Paulson. Farewell from Toronto.
The GM Motorsport Hour, brought to you by General Motors of Canada Limited and by Quality GM Parts, Priority Courier, and Sony of Canada.
Well, our final event in the General Motors of Canada National Stock Car Series will be from Mosport in Ontario, the 10th and final run. We hope you'll join us for that.